Hey everyone, Miguel Maravilla here from FightNews.com and SouthernCaliforniaBoxing.com. Just want to say what's up to everybody, catching up on what's happening so far in boxing, what has happened today, and what has happened this week so far. Quite some news, there's some buzz going on social media with Ryan Garcia. We also have a few notes on some programming, upcoming programming, and of course, Dimitri Bivol. We're also going to talk about possible return of boxing, when it will be, returning, see what happens, and hopefully we get boxing back pretty soon. So with that, let's talk about what's happened with Dimitri Bivol. Nothing's happened with him, but he's mentioned that he's been interested in moving down to super middleweight, 168, to fight Caleb Smith. Bivol, 17-0, 11 knockouts, WBA light heavyweight champ. He himself has been having a tough time fighting guys at light heavyweight. It's been hard for him to get a fight. He's a big threat. He's a big puncher. He's very technical. And he's also part of that Russian boxing pedigree from that, you know, solid Russian amateur program. In this case, him moving down to 168, why not? Caleb Smith is also a guy that's been having a tough time fighting, finding a mega fight, a big fight. So if you ask me, this would be a wise decision for Bivol as well as Caleb Smith too. This would be a perfect fight. Why not? It's like it's meant to be for both of these guys. Both of them are having a difficult time getting a big fight. So why not? When boxing returns, why not? Let's have that one. So more of that interview can be watched on Matchroom Boxing's YouTube channel. Check it out. So again, Bivol willing to move down to 168 to challenge Caleb Smith. So we'll see what happens there. On to some upcoming programming. There's this past weekend, Telemundo aired a special on former world champion Wilfredo Vasquez Jr. That's the son of former world champion Wilfredo Vasquez, both of Puerto Rico. So if you had a time to catch that, that was aired this week, this past Friday. And this Friday, Telemundo will also be airing an upcoming documentary on Orlando El Fenomeno Cruz. Cruz, he himself is known to being the first openly gay boxer. Back in 2013, he made headlines by you know as many would say he was out he was open about it, and he you know got himself a world title shot. Came up short though against Orlando Salido. However, Cruz has made a name for himself, and good for him. And if this Friday, if you're not watching anything, go ahead, tune into Telemundo and check that out. Also, we have you know when when's boxing gonna when's boxing gonna return? When is when is the date? When will we see boxing back on TV? Boxing at venues? Well, there's been a few fight cards. I know a few weeks ago in Nicaragua at the Polideportivo, Alexis Arguello, former world champion Rosendo Buffalo Alvarez, he promoted his card, Buffalo Promotions. They promoted a card. I believe it included about six fights. That was, that was actually uh, that was the first event, first boxing event uh, since the whole shutdown. They good job to those in charge, those that were part of it. There were strict measures to enter the arena. Everyone had their temperature taken. Everyone had was required to wear a mask. Social distance practices as far as some of the seating. Spectators were you know separated. They were seated about 6 feet from each other. So you know that was good to see a card. That's a possible preview of what's to come in the next month or two. How our event's going to be taking place. So let's hope boxing returns soon. However, that's a good sign. That's progress right there being made with that card in Nicaragua. Good news is they're returning this Friday at the same venue in the Polideportivo Nicaragua. I'm in Nicaragua, Polideportivo Alexis Arguello. That again, that's going to feature about five cards. Five. That's going to be a five-fight card. So following week, we have Roy Jones Jr. and Carlos Molina. They're promoting a card from Michoacan, Mexico. So that's exciting. And then May 30th, there's also a fight card in the Dominican Republic in Santo Domingo. I believe that's Schwan Boxing that they'll be promoting the card in the Dominican Republic May 30th. And with that said, I know June was a targeted date for Top Rank. Bob Arum mentioned a few weeks ago that June is the target. And Zamfir Promotions also issued a press release as far as their cards that will be taking place in June. They'll be hosting cards every weekend in June from Mexico. That would include their stars Navarrete, Luis Neri, Pollo Aguilar, Jackie Nava, and those would be on separate fight cards different weeks. More details to come on that. Let's see what transpires from here in the next 2 weeks. See when the green light is given on when boxing will return. Matchroom Boxing and PBC have also indicated that they're looking forward to a July return, the potential July return. And Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, they're eyeballing a 4th of July return. So that's what's been talked about for a Golden Boy Promotions 4th of July return. That would feature Ryan Garcia on the main event. Garcia himself has made quite a buzz in the last few days. Went on to social media to post a tweet. Everyone's misinterpreting it that he called out 2008 Olympic gold medalist, MMA, UFC star Henry Cejudo. That's the tweet reads. Let me check this out. So the tweet reads, if I'm not mistaken, he tweets yesterday. You think Henry Cejudo would give me a good fight in the boxing ring? So that's just a thought. He's not necessarily saying, "Hey, I want you in the ring right now." That's not the case here. He's just wondering, brainstorming, whatever you call it. So Henry Cejudo, moments later, goes on to social media and on Twitter, "Get the hell out of here, you Oscar De La Hoya wannabe. I'd make you bend the knee in your own sport. Dana White, allow me to fry this fish." Hmm. So Cejudo didn't take that too kindly. And of course, Garcia ends up retweeting, "Don't end up like Connor now." Then he ends up, "My guy Henry C is 5'4". You enter the ring with me, you end up retiring for good. Just enjoy your MMA championships." I mean, hey, that developed. That was something that escalated. Now everyone on social media, everyone's talking, "Hey, Ryan Garcia, Henry Cejudo." So you can only imagine. So then later later on, Abner Mares goes ahead and he tweets something about funny how people something about people not accomplishing anything in boxing and all of a sudden want to call out these MMA superstars. So it was some comment like that. And then of course Ryan Garcia, I find it real funny. Old ass Abner Maris is talking shit. If you want to get knocked out again in the first round, then be my guest. That goes for you too, Linares. So basically, the two birds with one stone in that tweet. He's throwing shots at Abner and throwing shots at Linares. Now, the Linares, why? Well, that fight was talked about for Garcia's next summer showdown. He's supposed to take on Linares July 11th at Staples Center, but unfortunately, that's been sidelined. We don't know exactly what the deal is. However, July 4th being Golden Boy's potential date, and possibly having Ryan headline. Hey, maybe maybe we will see Garcia Linares. So I find it I find it interesting. I find it, hey, it is what it is. As far as Ryan Garcia goes, he's playing a good part. He's doing what he has to do to stir things up, to make something happen. Of course, right now it's lockdown, it's quarantine. This, of course, is definitely material to be talked about. So we'll see what happens with this between Garcia and Cejudo. Also, what it you know what what did we get into all of a sudden that we're talking MMA and boxing? We a few years ago you had the Conor McGregor Mayweather fight. That was Conor calling out Mayweather and so forth. Hey, it's a moneymaker. But in the ring, as far as the boxing, MMA fighters stepping into the ring, it's it's just a different realm. It's a different, just a whole different scenario for an MMA fighter stepping into the boxing ring. Same, and vice versa. Same thing it would be for a boxer stepping into the octagon. But what we have here is it's pay-per-view material. It's a big sporting event. Everybody's in on it. Everybody decides, hey, let's order this. This is a huge event. From a boxing standpoint, I just feel that this fight between Garcia and Cejudo, it would just be a big event. Let's just put it that way, a big event. You have Ryan Garcia who comes in undefeated, you know, superstar, future world champion, good amateur background, good pedigree, great skills. You have Cejudo, an MMA superstar, MMA fighter. He's coming off his win against Dominic Cruz this past Saturday, and he went on to say he retired and he would only return if Dana White paid him more. So, hey, perfect timing. All of a sudden Ryan's calling him out. Not calling him out. I'm sorry. I mean, I mentioned earlier that he's not calling him out, but now that's what it's escalated to. Cejudo himself used to box. He was a Arizona State Golden Gloves champion at one point, and as we mentioned earlier, he was a 2008 wrestling gold medalist in Beijing, representing the United States, and he's become a huge MMA star. But with that fight, I just feel Garcia would just you know Garcia would win that fight. Garcia would find a way to counter him, just like those knockouts that you see, those Ryan Garcia first round knockouts, something similar to his last fight when he knocked out Fonseca. I just see it that way. I see Cejudo just inexperienced in the ring, as far as in the boxing ring. The last he hasn't stepped in in a professional boxing ring, whereas that's that's Ryan Garcia's. You could say that's his backyard. That's his realm. That's his domain. And just for Cejudo, there's no questioning his toughness. There's no questioning what he can do, what he's capable of. However, in a fight against Ryan Garcia, it would I wouldn't see this going four, 4 rounds. But when it happens, if it happens, hey, we'll see. We shall see. So on, moving forward, you know, let's let's see when boxing, returns. Let's hope we get, whatever fights we want. And boxing will be back soon, stronger than ever. But until then, we will be coming to you on a weekly basis. Like I mentioned on the first segment, 2 to 3 times a week. But when we get more material, we'll definitely be previewing, giving predictions, as well as recapping, summarizing what has happened over the weekend. So until then, I'm Miguel Maravilla from FightNews.com and SouthernCaliforniaBoxing.com. Follow me on Twitter at Mig Maravilla. And for the latest boxing news and information, log on to FightNews.com and SouthernCaliforniaBoxing.com. Until then, we'll see you.